everybody, and Happy New Year's! It's 2026. Wow, what a year! The year is beginning snowy here in Belgium, which I like very much. I really like snowy weather. Reminds me of when I was a kid, And I always think that people who don't like snow, they forgot who they were as a child. When you were a kid, you weren't thinking about traffic or anything like that. So, I don't know. I just get excited when I see snow. It makes me happy. But I wanted to make a video today about a woman who is rather infamous in history, and she is called Ilse Koch, and she had a nickname, was called the Witch of Buchenwald. Actually, witch is often pronounced with a B in this case. But for obvious YouTube purposes, I will not say that word. But let's talk about Ilse. Ilse is the kind of person I would like to never meet in my life. But they do, however, for sure exist. And I think there are a lot of people like her who often end up in positions of power. But let's look at her life. Ilse Koch. She was born in Dresden, if I'm not mistaken. That's where her story begins, obviously. But then later on in life, she joined the SS, and that's where she met her husband. And that's also kind of around the time when they got married, and Ilse got the last name Koch. So, her husband was appointed commandant of the camp in Buchenwald. Ilse, she did not really have any. I hope this microphone is loud enough for you to hear, but I don't think that's a problem. But Ilse, she did not really have an official rank inside the camp, no. But what she did do, and what she is infamous for, is quite shocking, I must warn you. For example, Ilse, she was known for collecting skin of tattooed people from the camp and turning it into furniture, lamps or book covers and such things, which is already crazy enough. But she also did a lot of other things which are really insane and very sadistic. For example, she would ride a horse inside the concentration camp, and she would be dressed up in a provocative way, especially for the time being. And when a prisoner looked at her, she oftentimes had that prisoner executed for harassing her. Or even, if that wasn't a complete, horror story, she also had people executed for not looking. So just to, mind if the people who are there, I cannot find another word than that, but it's to instill the uttermost fear in the prisoners, because you don't know how to react. You can do no good. If you look, you're dead. If you don't look, you're probably also dead. And even more, I am not an historian. I'm just interested in World War II and other periods of history. So yeah, that's kind of like the thing that Ilse used to do. But what's interesting about it is, if you look at like the position of power she was in, it's really like, it makes you wonder what humans are capable of doing to each other. She would also bathe in sunbathe near a pool, and that pool was also in vision. It was visible for the prisoners. But once again, if you stared too long, you risked a whole lot. And she would do that intentionally. There are also testimonials where she was trying to like how do you say, trade the things she collected, like the tattooed skin or the book covers she made with that, with other officers at parties and such. Yeah, I wrote down a little list in my phone. I'm just gonna check it, but I'm worried that the signal will interfere with the microphone, so I'm not keen on touching it. So let me just see. Yeah, so she also, it's an interesting one. Her husband, he was eventually executed by the SS themselves, not by the Allied, but not for cruelty or anything like that, but for fund embezzlement. So they were like, how do you say it in English? Corrupt in a way, I guess. Yeah. And Ilse, she like acted that she knew nothing about that, and she was free from the SS. But later on, she was arrested by the Allies, in which she tried to play the innocent card. She was like, no, I didn't know what was happening inside the camps and stuff like that. She even got pregnant during her imprisonment, because she heard that pregnant women would not be executed during the trials, the Nuremberg trials, that is. And it really goes to show like what kind of person she is, and also what kind of person that is able to rise up through the ranks of a political party. Because when she joined the NSDAP, the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeidspartei, she also met her husband, obviously, but I always find it remarkable that those people, the people that end up in really powerful positions, oftentimes, or not oftentimes, but like oftentimes is maybe an overstatement, but there is a correlation, I think, between people in power and people with sadistic and narcissistic personalities, you know, because I think it's to do with that they just put themselves over other people without even questioning it, which is why they end up in those positions. But yeah, and her husband was obviously like also a very sadistic person as well, and a narcissist. In fact, they even like Ilse, she said to her husband that he had to get more creative with punishments for the prisoners, and there was this little yard inside the camp, and she was like, yeah, no, we need to punish them harder. And they actually like had this kind of like dynamic in which they would enforce each other on being more cruel, and they like found love in that cruelty aspect of the human psyche, which is interesting but also really effed up, you know. Yeah, let me just check my list. So eventually Ilse, she committed suicide, and you might think, well, that's Probably she did a lot of people a favor there. But yeah, let me just move on. I'm just gonna like quickly look at my notes. Yeah, I thought I was going to talk a little bit more about what she had done inside the camp, but I feel like I already talked about that a little bit during the video. Yeah, that's the thing. I had this idea, I'm gonna plan out a video, I'm gonna take notes, and then I was like, no, I want to have a spontaneous video, or a more or less spontaneous video, because it's the New Year's, and yeah, things have been busy, man, very busy. I had a lot of like social obligations, and you know, I mean, obviously, I like meeting people and eating with people and stuff, but it's also very tiring for me. Yeah, I'm a kind of person that overthinks a lot of stuff, and that makes social interactions sometimes really tiring. And the funny thing is that people, they often describe me as a very outgoing and extroverted person who seems really confident. And that's always interesting to me, because I really do not feel like that a lot of the time. I mean, I know that I can be very fluent in social interactions, but when I get home, I am super tired, and I feel like I do not recharge. I have to like have my downtime. I have to have it, and during the holidays, it's just really hard to find that downtime. So yeah, and other besides that, actually things have been quite, the normal way of life, I guess. Work has been more busy around the time, but now it's okay. After the holidays, it's always a little bit less. But yeah, I've also been creating a lot of music. Again, I'm going to release some music in the near future, probably. I'm not really sure if that's the kind of thing you like hearing about me. But yeah, it's fun to talk about as well, I guess. As you can see, I ramble on about anything, So maybe I'll just have to look at the list here. So yeah, she committed a suicide. We already talked about this thing that she did where people couldn't look at her. And if they didn't look, they also got killed, the tattoo selection progress. I'm a guy, I have a lot of tattoos. Not a lot, I have like 6 or 7. Damn, that was not intentional. I really didn't. Anyways, I have around 6 or 7 tattoos. Yeah, the only reason I know 6-7 is a thing is because of the news. I mean, like, I was like, what is this? But like every generation has this kind of like weird things that they think it's cool or something, but actually it's really, I don't know what it is. Live and let live, I guess. But anyways, the tattoo selection. I have a lot of tattoos, So, yeah. To me, I like tattoos, but the thought of seeing them on skin that is taken off humans, it doesn't really appeal. So, but then again, Ilse, she was a twisted, sick individual, to say the least, though. Yeah, so she made like book covers, lampshades. Also, she made like shrunken heads. There was a testimony where these shrunken heads were used as the decorative items in the household. So yeah. Yeah, we also talked about like the pool that she used to sunbathe at, and her weighted whip, and and such. So I guess I said everything I wanted to say, except for the fact that I really missed making videos. And though I may disappear sometime for a while because life has been busy or something, I really do enjoy making videos for you guys, and I also enjoy talking about the topics that I talk about. But sometimes it's the fine line between preparing a video and making it spontaneous, because if I prepare a video too much, it doesn't really feel spontaneous to talk about, which also kind of like not entirely takes the fun out of it, but it does take the fun out of it a little bit, because I like just, I don't know, I like spontaneity in videos, especially in ASMR videos. So yeah, I'm just gonna, I've been talking about like 17 minutes. I'm gonna leave it at this. This was a video about Ilse Koch, another infamous individual throughout history. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's and you've had happy holidays, and I hope 2026 will be a good year, because let's face it, society is kind of like, but I don't know, man. I think like there's this book. It's called De meeste mensen deugen. It's like most humans are decent or something, loosely translated. And even though like it's a rather optimistic take on humanity, I always think like most of us, we do are, decent and friendly people and nice people to be around, and I don't know, we got a heart, I think. And let's like say the New Year resolution for 2026. I hope that myself and other people show more heart in 2026. I think that will